Guy Smith, one of my favorites, even though we disagree on nearly everything, is joining me to look back on last night's Down and Bash interview with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Of course, Guy Smith, a Democrat strategist, a former advisor to the Clintons, and a BGSU hockey star in his day. Guy, great to have you back on. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, last night's interview, which I think boiled down to about 5 questions, was in many ways, I admit, a win for Kamala Harris because she did finally do an interview. She had no major gaffes. But if someone's looking for policy and any meat and plans, I don't think that she or Tim Walz delivered at all.
Well, of course you wouldn't think that. What the big contrast, though, was that everything she and Governor Walz says were incomplete sentences. She didn't attack sharks, didn't attack bacon and windmills. She talked about her vision for the American people and said it in a very clear and creditable way, very earnest and sincere, as was Governor Walz. And it was a media interview. You guys in the media get all case of the vapors about, oh, well, they're not talking to the media. Well, she's been talking to voters big time, and
saying nothing to voters either. I mean, what is her plan?
All of the millions of people that are supporting her, and all of the polls that are trending up, all of the polls, are because people are stupid. The people are not stupid. They like what they're hearing, and there's big contrast, huge contrast. I mean, just take, people. They asked her about you guys in the media say, oh, well, she's flipped her position on fracking.
Yes, she has.
Well, so let's talk about your boy Trump. Here's all the things he's flipped on over the years: abortion, gun control, health care, immigration, tax policy, foreign policy, military intervention, climate change, NATO, defense spending, and COVID response. Now, let's just take just abortion. All the women listening to this show right now know that Donald Trump is coming after their bodies. They know, and they're going to vote. And they did vote, Scott, in Ohio, a red state. And what happened when they voted? I
have said from the very beginning, the more abortion is certainly a winning issue for Democrats, I will admit. However, half this country is opposed to abortion. And in slim margins, like here in Ohio, issue 1 did win. That said, there should still be some restrictions, and I think a majority of the country believe that there should be restrictions on abortion, even if it is legalized. And the president, Donald Trump, is not going to outright ban protect He's going to limit it for the life and safety of the mother and for protect the unborn child.
He doesn't know what he's going to do because he's the one that endorsed Project 2025.
No, he has never endorsed Project 25. And look, here's the
wait, Scott.
And
as a Trump, there are videos. There's tape.
Look,
his vice president wrote the forward to the thing.
No, he didn't. He wrote the forward to a book by one of the people who was an author of Project 2025. Not to Project 2025 itself. And look, even as a Trump supporter, I'm going to say this: there is no way that Donald Trump would endorse, know what is in Project 2025, would agree with it or disagree with it, because he hasn't read the damn thing. He doesn't read anything, and I admit that. So there's no way that he could be a proponent of Project 2025. He doesn't read books.
Well, he sure reads enough to demonize everybody, and the thing the other day at the Arlington Cemetery was beyond disgusting, and there are a lot of people listening to the show that are veterans and people in the service right now, and people whose family members are in the service, and sadly, too many of all of us have lost friends and family in wars. And
I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but the family asked him to pose for a picture. Should there have been a political video film there? No, I completely agree with that. But the family had asked.
What if the family had asked him to take a gun out and shoot somebody? It was against the law.
That's apples and oranges. That is not the same.
his staff,
And I'm not agreeing with that at all. I don't think that's right. But what's
So
worse? What's worse? Governor Tim Walz stealing valor by claiming to have attained a rank he didn't achieve, and by abandoning his men who are being deployed.
You're misrepresenting
that. No, he admitted it last night.
No, what you retire at is the prior position if you've not held it for long enough.
The National Guard said he was incorrect in claiming that rank of command sergeant major.
Okay, so he's a sergeant major, but he served 24 years.
He did serve, and I respect that. He also misrepresented that he carried a gun in battle. I'm sorry, it was a grammatical error last night. So is Kamala Harris committing grammatical errors when she claimed that the wall that she now wants to build was racist, or that she was against fracking? Was that a grammatical error? Or that she wants to mandate electric vehicles by 2030? Or was it a grammatical error when Kamala Harris said that she wants a mandatory gun buyback?
Just because a politician's position evolves doesn't make them a bad person. And you guys are all upset about her position on fracking. She is the deciding vote on the legislation that expanded fracking, expanded. So, all this business of, let me just say this, I'm going back to the Arlington situation. If Kamala Harris had done that, and she or her staff had physically attacked a Arlington Army employee, you guys would just be going nuts. And here you're trying to defend it. Well, they just wanted to take a picture. That's just not right. And
it's indefensible. It is indefensible, and I have not said otherwise on the show. However, when you continue to attack Donald Trump on something like that, it's just showing that you really can't defend Kamala Harris when it comes to issues and policies because she has none.
I am a spokesman for the Harris campaign. In addition to having, as you said, I worked at the White House for the Clintons, that sort of thing. But so the policy that Trump has is he's against windmills, and he doesn't want people to eat bacon because you can't make it, because the sharks electrocute you or something. But let's just talk about Harris's economic plan. And there is a plan. All you guys say, oh, well, the child tax credit. Yes, the child tax credit, which will take a lot of children out of poverty. They want to, and then the grocery prices. Oh, well, can't mandate bringing down grocery prices. Did you see what the guy from Kroger, the executive of Kroger, said under oath in a courtroom the other day? He said, yes, we raised prices of milk and eggs more than inflation. He admitted it.
Yes, because their costs and expenses have gone up and will continue to go up if Kamala Harris mandates electric vehicles on all the shipping trucks that are bringing those foods to the grocery stores. I spoke with the owner, Mike Ruley, now a Congressman Mike Ruley, his family has owned small grocery stores in the Youngstown area for more than 100 years, who will be run out of business if price controls are enacted by Kamala Harris. Not to mention the fact that she claims on day one she will work to bring down inflation. Why hasn't she done that for the last 1,001 days? When Donald Trump left office, inflation was 1.4%, and it hasn't come back down to the Fed's target rate. It's been the worst inflation we've had in more than 3 decades.
We were coming out of COVID. Trump gave $1 trillion to the billionaires,
which
people like you.
He should not have done that, nor should we have passed the Build Back Better Act or the American Rescue Act or forgiven student loan debt. All of those things drive up the cost of inflation. And now Kamala Harris wants to give $25,000 to people to buy a house. Well, you know what that's going to do? That's going to drive the price of homes up even more, reduce home availability, and home prices are going up because the cost of goods and labor is going up.
The cost of goods and labor is going up, and so are wages. So if you look at the numbers, you're misleading your listeners. And now, let me just also say, you interrupted me on her economic plan. Capping insulin prices at $35 and expanding that to other important drugs for American people, $35. Trump didn't do that.
Bidenomics has cost the American family $28,000 more because of the increased cost of living. Is Bidenomics a failure, and why won't Kamala Harris condemn it? If she disagreed with the policies of Bidenomics, why hasn't she done anything about it for the last 3.5 years?
We can throw back numbers and that sort of thing at each other all afternoon, but the reality is that the American people see the contrast, especially the women. They know Trump is who put the people on the Supreme Court that overturned Roe versus Wade. They know
that's what she got. That's the only thing. That's the only thing Kamala Harris has been consistent about, is she wants babies to be killed.
Oh man, you're saying that to the women. Your women listeners right now are hearing you say you want Trump to be in charge of their body, to keep track of their menstrual cycles. That's what J.D. Vance says. All you got to do is go to the tape. And there are other very important contrasts.
Look,
Harris wants to protect Social Security and Medicare. Trump wants to cut it. Every year he was in office, he tried to cut it.
I believe abortion should be legal with restrictions, which is essentially where Donald Trump is today. I think that many on the right in the Republican Party have extremist views against abortion, but I think that abortion should be legal with restrictions. I think that's an acceptable policy.
And his vice president candidate doesn't trust teachers who don't have children. And that's childless cat ladies. Come on, guys. Now, here's another important.
I love cat ladies, and we got to wrap things up here in a second, Guy. I love having you on. We've been going back and forth so much. I haven't even had a chance to reintroduce you to anybody just joining in. Guy Smith, Democrats trying to just former advisor to the Clintons, surrogate for the Harris-Walz campaign. One of my favorite guests. And we got to wrap things up in a minute, Guy. But I love these conversations with you.
We have Taylor Swift, and Trump doesn't have Taylor Swift, and there you go. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
I am a Swiftie, but that's not going to sway my vote any. Guy, I love you, man. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks a lot.